Hi everyone, my name is Lynn. Welcome back to Gardening from Square One, or if you are new here, welcome. If you're ready to transform your garden, you've come to the right place. Whether you're battling freezing temperatures in Central Texas or other parts of the country, standing around watching your perennials faint and turn to mush, and if any of that sounds familiar, or if you're just looking to get a head start on your spring garden, you are in the right place, as I will be sharing some fantastic winter garden tips. Stay tuned. So today we're diving into essential gardening tasks for January. So things like what to plant now, how to protect your plants from the winter chill, and other key winter gardening tasks as we plan for a beautiful spring garden. If you find this kind of content useful, please click subscribe to join this growing community of gardeners. So grab your gardening gloves and let's dig in. As we embrace the winter chill, it's crucial to know what you can still plant and how to protect your garden. Now, for many of us in USDA hardiness zone 7 to 9, you're in luck. This month is prime time to add annuals for incredible winter blooms and hardy vegetables. So consider planting vibrant pansies, cheerful violas, and striking ornamental kale. These beauties do more than add color, but they are also incredibly hardy during the colder months. Now let's talk about herbs. This is a great time to plant your cilantro, chives, dill, parsley, oregano, and many other herbs. Just remember that if the temperatures dip below freezing, cover the delicate herbs like cilantro and chives with breathable fabric to protect them. Avoid plastic covers touching the plants, as it can actually trap cold and moisture, leading to damage. There are also Mr. Greenstock planters that are actually full systems with separate pouches that can be used to grow many herbs and vegetables. If you have beds or planters in place, January is also a perfect time to plant your winter crops. Think artichokes, asparagus, and a variety of leafy greens like spinach, kale, and broccoli. These cold season plants will absolutely thrive with the cooler soil that we will have here for the next several weeks. Below, I will link a fantastic YouTube channel where the content creator discusses all things veggie gardening. If you're like me and have deer, rabbits, and other wildlife in the garden, beautiful tulips planted in the ground are likely a no-go. However, daffodils, alliums, hyacinth, bluebells, and snowdrop plants can be planted in these areas to put on a great early spring show. Prime time for planting bulbs in many zone 7 through 9 areas is typically from Thanksgiving to Christmas around December 25th, although I planted most of my daffodil bulbs January 2nd and 3rd. And to be perfectly honest, if I had any left over, I would still plant those bulbs, but immediately. If the ground is still workable and you can dig deep enough for the bulb, so about 6 inches down, planting right now should be okay. Daffodils, for example, often begin blooming around 3 months after planting. So seeing those gorgeous blooms the beginning of April, it will be just perfect. Just think about what else is blooming in April. Now is a great time to plant your fruit trees, from apple and peach trees to strawberries and blackberries. It is a great time of year to make sure that you have fresh fruit in the future. The one caveat is cold hardy fruits. So citrus trees and other frost tender fruiting trees are best planted after all danger of frost has passed, and they should be planted in pots here in Central Texas so that they can be stored away in a warm spot when the winter cold hits. Avocado trees actually become cold sensitive once the temperatures dip below 50 degrees Fahrenheit. It is also a great time to plant bare root roses. Now, let's move on to some essential gardening chores. If you're like me envisioning a tidy garden, this is a perfect month to prune some plants. Understanding the difference between herbaceous and woody plants is key. There's a simple litmus test I like to use. Generally, if the plant has stalks and leaves, it is herbaceous. If the plant has woody stems, it's likely a shrub. So you can cut back herbaceous perennials to about half of the height if you want to leave a little extra protection against future heart frost this season, and or to create a little protected space for vital insects during the winter. Then at the end of winter, early spring, after all danger of heart frost has passed, these plants can be cut back to about 4 inches above the ground. Or you can just do that now. Just make sure the plants have mulch around the base. If you have hardy plants that need to be moved, January is a great time to complete this task. I'm going to move this Vitex shrub because it is very cold hardy in Central Texas and it blooms on new wood. Now is also an excellent time to give your garden a little TLC by treating your trees, like your fruit trees, or any other tree that you want to keep the overwintering pests at bay. You'll also want to clean up and discard diseased leaves from any plant, add compost to planting beds, mulch wherever it's needed, and pull weeds. Speaking of mulch, continue to walk through your yard, assess your needs, and make lists. Focus on essential tasks like mulching, protecting your irrigation lines, and covering sensitive plants if you have not done so. The mulch actually helps to keep the soil temperature stable and regulate it while the temperature fluctuates from hard freezes to the sun coming out and warming things up a bit. The mulch also helps to protect the plants from harsh winds that can cause drying. Often here in Central Texas, we get ample rain to keep our plants hydrated throughout the winter. If you receive at least an inch of rain in about 3 weeks' time, that is often enough to keep plants hydrated during the winter. However, if there is a dry spell, you may want to go out and check the soil around your plants by digging down with trowel or small shovel to make sure that your soil doesn't completely dry out during the winter. You should not need to deeply water plants more than once per month during the winter if there is a prolonged dry spell, and you do not want to do this if the ground is frozen. Wait for things to warm up just a bit. You can prune your dormant fruit trees to encourage strong new growth. Dead or crossing branches can be removed from woody plants, but I wait for new growth to emerge in spring prior to truly pruning woody shrubs like butterfly bushes, Caryopteris, viburnums, for example. Please remember, for trees like red oaks and live oaks, avoid pruning them between February and July to prevent disease spread and the potential decimation of these treasured trees. Now to the fun. This is the time of year where I, like many of you, are diving into our favorite gardening catalogs and websites, visualizing new additions or changes to our gardens and layouts. It's all about filling in those gaps and creating a vibrant space for the coming seasons. I have found that patience is key in gardening, and I've learned to take my time to ensure that I at least try to get things just right. I found that this approach saves money to avoid this loop of buying and then replacing a lot of plants that were purchased to be keepers but turned out not to be. The most important 2 tips I can provide are know your soil, and I will link a soil testing website, or and that is for those of you who are in Central Texas, or if you contact your county extension offices, they can provide resources for soil testing. And the second tip is the right plant, the right place. For example, gardenias thrive in acidic soil. However, here in Central Texas, our soil tends to be alkaline, and so gardenias just don't do well here. That is an example of wrong plant for this place. In addition, knowing, if the plant might say full sun, but maybe it should be placed in part sun in a very hot location. So doing a little research, speaking to others who grow the plants, that can help to ensure that you put the right plant in the right place. It'll save you money, it'll save you time. Now, I would like to hear from you. What are you doing in your garden this January? Please share your tips, plans, and any gardening stories in the comments below. This community thrives on sharing knowledge, and I can't wait to hear from you. If you enjoyed today's content, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Let's grow a beautiful garden in 2025. Thanks for tuning in, and until next time, happy gardening. Bye.